Hey friends! In today's video, we're creating this really clean, sophisticated, timeless holiday look. It's perfect for a holiday party or perfect for a night out any time of the year. I'm using all Bobbi Brown products, including some new from their holiday collection. I did team up with them on this video. Let's get started. So I'm gonna go in and prep and prime the skin. I did apply my skincare this morning and I did apply my tinted SPF, but I'm gonna go in and apply the vitamin enriched face base. Essentially, it's like a moisturizer and a primer in one product. It feels incredible on the skin. It's going to help your makeup stay on all day, and it's also going to rehydrate the skin and just make it perfect and beautiful for makeup. Especially in the winter when your skin gets drier, it's really important that right before you apply your makeup, you have a product that's going to plump and hydrate the skin. That way your makeup looks natural and it doesn't look cakey or heavy throughout the day. The texture on this is really nice. It's rich, so a little bit goes a very long way. I'm just taking small amounts and just kind of spreading it in the center of the face. And I'm gonna put a little on my chin. My chin's been really dry lately. Perfect. Okay, feels so good and it smells incredible, and I got a little bit in my hair. Okay, next we're gonna go in and apply our foundation, and I'm working with the Skin Longwear Weightless Foundation with an SPF of 15. I have the shade N042 Beige, and I'm going to pump we're gonna start with 2 pumps. I'm gonna start in the center of the face just so that I can get the most coverage there, and then I'm gonna go and spread it and blend it out to the perimeter of the face. Okay, so let's do one side. What I love about this foundation, and it's very, very weightless, very natural looking, has a very skin-like finish. The coverage on it, you're gonna get a good kind of medium coverage. It's a very, very beautiful winter foundation, in my opinion, because it just looks so natural on the skin. I wanted a little bit more coverage here in the center of the face. Since I am doing more of like a holiday kind of evening out look, I want the skin to be flawless. So I'm just gonna go in and add a little more. And when I'm building coverage, I always like to build in very little layers. So I recommend, rather than going in with a lot of foundation initially off the bat, start with a little, blend that into the skin, and then go in and add a little bit more. Also, blending it into the skin and giving it time to kind of set is gonna help you build coverage when you add a little more on top of it. Okay, the skin looks flawless. I have just enough coverage. I haven't concealed under the eyes yet. We're gonna go and do that here shortly. Okay, next we're gonna conceal underneath the eyes. I haven't gotten a lot of sleep the last few days. I've had a very busy week. So I'm gonna go in with a little color corrector first before concealer. The benefits of using a color corrector really are, if you struggle with very dark under eyes and you find that concealer doesn't really cut it, using a peach toned color corrector can help neutralize and cancel out that darkness, and then you can go in and conceal with concealer. It's also going to allow you to use less concealer than you normally would, because it's going to do half of the work for you. This is the color corrector in the shade Light Bisque from Bobbi Brown. It's a little stick. It's very hydrating. It looks very natural underneath the eyes. I'm going to just do a nice little layer here. This one too has some brightness to it, so it's going to not only neutralize the darkness, but it's also going to highlight and slightly brighten the eye. And I'm actually just going to use my finger to blend this in. Okay, perfect. Now, I could probably get away with just using that, but I'm gonna go and do a little extra coverage to conceal. And I also want, even though I like this brightness, I don't want it to be that light underneath the eyes. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna take the Skin Full Cover Concealer. This is one of my favorite products from Bobbi Brown. I believe this launched last year and I've loved it ever since it launched. It's the shade Beige that I'm gonna go in with. This is a full coverage concealer, so a little bit goes a long way. I'm gonna be very mindful of that. Even if I didn't use the color corrector, I'd wanna be careful not to apply too much of this. But because I did that color corrector, I'm definitely going to be more on the lighter hand. I did a tiny little amount there, and then I'm just going to do a little line up here. This is just going to lift the eye slightly. You can take this around the nose. I have enough coverage from the foundation that I don't need it. But one of my favorite combos to wear on the days where I want more of a light foundation application, but I still want good coverage, is to pair the Skin Full Cover Concealer with the Vitamin Enriched Skin Tint. This is a very like sheer tinted like foundation. It also has an SPF of 15 in it. So if you want really natural light coverage, like primarily all over the face, but be able to cover a little bit more in certain areas, these two together are a perfect pair. Okay, next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these and kind of spread them to marry them together. Let it set for a second, then I'm gonna come back and blend it out. Perfect, okay. Next, I'm gonna take that same brush and I'm just gonna press it to blend and get coverage underneath the eye. Take the excess right here in the inner corner and kind of highlight underneath the brow with this product. So I'm gonna go in and set the foundation and the concealer, and I'm gonna use this powder. This is the Vitamin Enriched Pressed Powder, and I have the shade Neutral. This is a really beautiful light powder. It has a little bit of a sheen to it. So if you're using a foundation that has a bit more radiance, this is gonna keep the integrity of that radiance. It's not gonna mattify it. And I'm gonna load my brush up because this powder is nice and light. I'm not worried about applying too much. And I'm gonna start underneath the eye first and just kind of press that underneath the eye to set. And if you notice, I'm going more in a pressing motion rather than a sweeping, just to really set that foundation and also not to disrupt the foundation underneath. This is so beautiful. It just softly blurs the skin, but it still keeps that natural looking finish to the skin. And I'm just gonna take my brush and kind of sweep it all over the face. We're gonna go in and bronze and warm up the skin. This is the bronzing powder in the shade Golden Light. It's a nice matte bronzer. I'm gonna take the same brush and we're just going to press this onto the skin to really deposit that product. This bronzer has a nice amount of warmth to it. So it's really going to give you that sun-kissed glow. Doesn't have any shimmer to it. It's a matte bronzer, but it's got a very silky texture to it. I'm gonna sweep it on the temples to just kind of transition from the hairline to the arch of the brow really nicely. That's also gonna create a really soft highlight in the center of the forehead and also in the center of the face. I'm gonna take a little bronzer and I'm gonna sweep it on the side of my nose as well. Okay, ooh, I love that. I just love a good warm matte bronzer. It just gives a very classic, polished look. Going in with the Longwear brow pencil in the shade Saddle, I'm going to take the spoolie side first to brush up my brow hairs, get them in place, and then I'm going to use the pencil. So this is kind of like a waxy formula. It's got a thicker head to it. So it's kind of like a blend between a pencil and a shadow. It's going to give you that same look. It's also going to help lay the hair down and keep them in place. I always like to start at the bulk of my brow here, and I start at the bottom, and I softly kind of sketch up to create the shape at the bottom of the brow. When I get right here, I don't have much hair growing here, so I kind of have to create the illusion of hair. So then I'll just flick it up. I'm just using the tip of this. So I'm just using the tip so I can have a little more of a precise line, and I'm just flicking it up real softly to create the look of hair. When I get up here to the arch, I have to create my arch because I'm also real thin in the brow right there. So I'm just gonna softly arch that up. I'm using really, really light pressure. This product is very pigmented, so you just need the lightest, softest touch. It's also going to give you more control over that brow. If you ever feel like you go a little too strong or too heavy with your brow, take a spoolie and just kind of run it through the brow. It's just going to soften and diffuse any harsh lines and just give you a little bit of a softer look. When I'm doing a brow, I like to work in little strokes. Really light little strokes just to get a very natural, soft looking brow. To prime the lid, I'm going to use the Longwear Cream Shadow Stick in the shade Shell. I love a good cream shadow stick, you guys know this, and Bobbi Brown is hands down without a doubt my absolute favorite formula. And the reason that I love it is because they're very creamy and they just glide onto the skin so smoothly, and you have time to blend them out or manipulate them or work with a brush or your finger. But once they set and they stay in place all day. They don't transfer, they don't crease, they're just budge proof. It's like that perfect formula of creaminess, but also longevity, which is hard to achieve, but Bobbi Brown nailed it. So I'm just gonna use my finger and just kind of blend this out. This color is a very light kind of pinkish ivory. It's really ivory, but it has like an undertone of a little bit of pinkness to it. So it's great for, you know, light, medium skin tones if you want to use it as like a eye brightener for the lid. Sometimes our lids can look a little bit darker. And so putting something down like this is just going to help brighten it, create an even canvas for shadow. It's also going to give the shadow something to adhere to. So the shadows are going to be more vibrant when you apply them to the skin. The key is really creating an even canvas. So you want to make sure that the product is applied evenly all over the lid. I also love that you can wear these as shadows alone. You don't have to put shadow on top of them. You can use them as eyeliners. They're a very versatile product, very quick and easy. I like this one for a primer, like when I'm going to put shadow on top. And one of my favorite colors for just to wear alone is Golden Bronze, is like my absolute favorite. I'm going to show it to you. It's a shimmery bronze, but it's not too warm. It's like that good mix of warmth and but not too warm. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love to wear this as a shadow. I love to wear this as like a smoky line. We might go in and use that on a lower lash line. I'm not sure. I'm gonna kind of let this look take me where it takes me. Okay, I love playing with a new eyeshadow palette, and this holiday palette from Bobbi Brown is stunning. It is so beautiful. It is packed with very, very wearable neutral shades. You have some mattes, you have some shimmers, you have some really fun festive colors for holiday here, and then of course you've got your basic shades for just a great all-around versatile everyday palette that you can wear for holiday, you can wear into the new year. I mean, it's really a year-round palette. There are 12 shades in here, and you have a mix of warmth and cool. When you first look at it, you really see a lot of warmth in this palette, but there are a couple shades in here that lean a little bit more cool, so you've got some versatility. Okay, so let's see what we're gonna do first. This is the fun part. Okay, I'm gonna go in first, and I'm going to create a little bit of a crease. I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. It is a velvety matte shade, so there's no shimmer to it, but it has a very slight, like, velvety texture to it, so it's very creamy. So it just applies very evenly and smooth on the skin. And I'm using a large, fluffy crease brush. I'm just gonna work this into the crease in a windshield wiper motion, just to create a little definition. When you are creating definition in the crease, always look for a shade that is slightly deeper than your skin tone and matte. That is how you're gonna get the most natural looking definition in the crease, and you can always build and go from there. So if you want to go in and add a deeper shade, which we will do, you can go from there, but start with something slightly deeper than your skin tone, not too deep, and then work your way up. That's how you're just going to get a really flawless, like pro looking airbrush look. If you go in with a really dark shadow right off the bat, like if you want to skip this step, it's really going to show in the overall look. You're not going to have as pretty of a blend. It's just gonna look a little bit messier. And I'm gonna build that up right here on the outer corner, kind of layer that, and then sweep it in the crease. Nice, so we have our good base down. Next, I'm gonna go in with this shade right here, and it's more of a rosy, kind of plummy shade. It's also matte. I'm gonna take a little tighter crease brush, and I'm gonna work this right in the outer corner. I'm using the tip, but also the side of the brush. This brush is great because it offers a lot of control, but it also blends and gives a really pretty blend. Isn't that pretty? Oh, that color is so gorgeous. Like matches my top perfectly. Okay, you see how that color lays down and really builds? Now I'm gonna go in with that soft crease brush, and we're softly going to blend out any harsh edges. I didn't add any color to this. I'm literally just using this brush for the fluffiness of it. So pretty. Okay, so I'm digging in here to these shimmers, and you guys, they are so soft. I'm trying to decide which one I wanna do. I mean, look at how beautiful those are. They are like foiled metallic shimmers. They are so pretty. And then we have one more right here. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is so beautiful. I think I'm gonna do this one. I think this one is calling my name. These are so pretty. Okay, so I'm switching to a flat shader brush. This brush, I'm gonna use the side of this brush to pick up a lot of product and just lay it and pack it down. I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. This is the shade I decided on. So I'm gonna load up my brush, and we're gonna pack this onto the center of the lid. Oh my gosh, look at that. This is stunning. Wow, this is beautiful. It just lays down. There's no fallout. So pretty. So I'm gonna layer this in the center of the lid to meet that darkness, and then I'm gonna work my way to the inner corner. I am gonna go in and highlight that inner corner here in a bit with another shade, but I'm gonna go ahead and take this to the inner corner, and we'll just lay the lighter shade on top of it. Look at how stunning that is. That is so pretty. This is a gorgeous palette, you guys. This is beautiful. It's like neutral, but it's got a lot of like fun to it with these shimmers and these colors. I love this palette. This palette is so good because you have your neutral everyday mattes, and then you've got these really fun, beautiful formulas that just like apply like butter. But these shimmers are stunning. They just lay on the skin so beautifully. And the colors they're like fun, but they're also very wearable. Oh my gosh, that is so gorgeous. Okay, this palette is coming home with me. In my studio, I keep most of my makeup, and then at home, I just keep the stuff that I wear all the time, and I'm definitely taking this palette home because it is stunning. Wow. All right, next I'm gonna go in and I'm going to deepen up that outer corner a little bit. I'm gonna go in with this warm reddish brown, and we're gonna just pop this right in the outer corner, just a little bit. I don't wanna completely cover that pink that we applied, or that rosy shade. I don't want to completely cover that. I just want to deepen this up a bit. And the same thing, I laid it down with that stiffer crease brush, and then I'm going to go in with this fluffy crease brush. I'm going to just soften it up a bit. Okay, then I'm going to take this brush and I'm just going to softly pull this out so I have a little bit more of an elongated. So next we're gonna line the upper lash line, and I'm gonna keep the liner concentrated on the outer half. I'm using the Bobbi Brown eye pencil in the shade Chocolate Truffle. This is a little mechanical pencil and it's got a nice fine tip, so you have a lot of control, which is really great for smaller eyes or hooded eyes because you can control that line without it getting too thick. And I'm just gonna run this just back and forth. I start at the furthest outer corner of my lash line, and I just kind of work my way till about the middle of my lash line. I'm gonna run over this with a shadow, so I'm not too concerned with it being perfect. Really what I wanna do is just lay down the liner. This is very rich, very pigmented. A little pressure is all you need. Okay, next I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna take a pencil brush. This is a small little pencil brush, and I'm gonna go into the darkest shade right here that we have. This does have some shimmer to it. It's like a smoky, like charcoaly, purpley plummy shade. And I'm gonna run this right on top of that liner. This is gonna set that liner, and also it's gonna smoke it out. So instead of having a really defined line, I'm gonna have more of a smoky line. And I'm actually gonna switch brushes. I'm gonna move over here to a wide angled brush, and we are just gonna press on top of that line. And then I'm gonna take that brush, turn it out, and I'm gonna create a little tiny wing. Okay. Perfect. There we go. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this. I have a friend's birthday this evening, and I'm kind of excited that I'm doing my makeup already. I don't have to worry about it later. I'm taking that vitamin-enriched powder, and I'm just running it underneath to just kind of brighten and reset and also sweep away any fallout. I didn't see any, but sometimes fallout can be a little sneaky and you don't really see it. Next, we're gonna go in, and for the lower lash line, I'm gonna take the Longwear Cream Shadow Stick in the shade Golden Bronzer. Here you are. And we're just going to run this from the outer corner till about the middle of the lower lash line. This is really creamy, very soft. I don't need a lot, I just want a little. So you can see what that does. That gives some definition to the lower lashes. Because this has shimmer, it's gonna automatically soften the eye opposed to like a matte eye pencil. Okay, so I'm gonna use this little smudge it brush. We're gonna go in with that first shadow that I started with in the crease. And we're just gonna run it on top of this Longwear Cream Shadow, just to kind of set it in place and soften it up a little bit. I'm also gonna make it a little thicker. Do you see what I'm doing? Kind of pulling it down and making that liner even a little smokier and thicker. Lovely. I'm loving this eye. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and curl the lashes. Going in with one of my favorite mascaras. This is the Smoky Eye Mascara. If you haven't picked this up or tried this mascara, try it. It is Bobbi Brown's best kept secret, in my opinion. I love this mascara. It gives volume and length and a very fluttery lash. So it looks very natural. I have a tube at home. I have a couple tubes at home actually, and a couple tubes here at the studio. It pairs well over a lash primer, but it also gives beautiful results worn alone, which is how I'm wearing it today. Do you see what kind of lash that gives? It just gives a very like fluttery, whimsical lash. It looks like a soft lash, you know, it doesn't look heavy with mascara. I have a little lash glue stuck in my lashes from the other night. And I'm having the hardest time getting it out. There's that little piece right there. It's just lash glue that has like been impossible for me to clean out of my lashes. If you have any tricks for that, let me know. I have tried like a balm, I've tried micellar water, I've tried like picking at it, but then I'm afraid I'm gonna pull my lashes out. So I'm kind of just waiting for it to come out, but it is stubborn. Too much lash glue. Okay, and then I'm gonna sweep a little bit of this on the lower lashes, just a tiny bit. This is a good lower lash mascara because it does have that soft look. It's not gonna weigh down the lower lashes. Okay, so let's finish up with lips. I'm really excited because I have 4 of these beautiful, beautiful holiday matte lipsticks. I've got a few shades. Let's swatch them all and decide together what we're gonna do. Okay, so the first one is Claret 04. We're gonna go ahead and swatch this right here on the arm. Ooh, wow. Okay, so super, super pigmented, you guys. That is pretty much one swatch. Then next up we have Neutral Rose 315. Ooh, okay, so that's a little deeper than I expected, but a really pretty rosy shade. We might do this one. So far, I'm really loving that one. Okay, next up we have the shade Boss Pink 303. Okay, these swatch so, wow, that is one swatch. Isn't that insane? Oh my gosh, super creamy. Okay, and then next up we have the shade Afternoon Tea 64. Okay, I'm gonna have to get more of these. Okay, so that's kind of more of a brick shade. I am thinking, you guys, I'm thinking I wanna go with one of these. What do y'all think? I think we're gonna go with this one. I think when this one pairs with the eyes a little bit. This one might be a little too pink. That's beautiful. Okay, so that was the shade Neutral Rose. Okay, so these are super pigmented. I don't think I need anything else but this for the lips. All right, let's apply them. I have a little bit of lip balm on the lips. Okay, oh wow, major pigment. Okay, so that's pretty much one swatch on the lower lip and then pressed together on the upper lip. And I have a full lip on now. I am gonna take the tip of this and just kind of shape my lip line since I'm not using a lip liner. And then I'm gonna turn it, kind of put the bullet up and take the edge to shape the bottom lip. Wow. Wow, so pigmented, very soft, very creamy. They're matte, but they don't feel like a matte lipstick on the lips. They actually feel like a cream lipstick, but they have the finish of a matte. Okay, that is stunning. These are amazing. These are so, so good. I'm gonna have these linked down below and I'll have all the shades that I use listed and I'll list them in order too. So if you guys wanna take a screenshot of this swatch and then I'll list them in the description box in order of the shades. Okay, you guys, I thought we were finished, but there's one thing I think we're missing. I'm gonna go in and add a little bit of a highlight. This is the Quartz Glow highlight powder. And I'm gonna use this to highlight in the inner corner of the eye. I'm probably gonna take a little bit underneath the brow, maybe a little bit on the nose. This is a really beautiful light golden shimmer. I'm just gonna pop a little bit right there. Look at that, just a tiny bit right there. I'm gonna take the tip of this brush and we're lightly gonna sweep it underneath the brow with a little bit of a highlight. I think this also gives a lot more to that holiday theme. And then I'm gonna take the tip of this brush and we're just gonna run it down the nose just to kind of highlight the tip of the nose a bit and maybe the chin too. You could highlight the cheekbone if you want, but I think I'm gonna leave it because I'm getting enough of that glow from the foundation. So I think I'm gonna leave it. So this is the finished look, very classic, very clean, very sophisticated, perfect for a night out or a holiday party, very timeless. I love that about this look. It's very, very timeless. I'm gonna link all the products along with the shade names in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.